Emma had always been a worrier. As a child, she was constantly fretting about the future and obsessing over things that were beyond her control. But as she grew older, her anxiety began to take on a life of its own. It started with the little things. Emma would get nervous before a test or a big presentation, and her heart would race and her palms would sweat. But soon, her anxiety began to impact every aspect of her life. She would lay awake at night, unable to sleep because her mind was racing with worries and fears. She would feel jittery and irritable during the day, unable to focus on anything for long. Emma tried to ignore her anxiety at first, thinking it was just a passing phase. But as the months went by, her anxiety only seemed to get worse. She began to feel like she was living in a constant state of fear and panic. One day, Emma had a panic attack. She was sitting in a meeting at work when suddenly, her heart started racing and she felt like she couldn't breathe. She rushed out of the room, tears streaming down her face, and collapsed on the floor. It was a wake-up call for Emma. She knew she couldn't ignore her anxiety any longer. Emma started seeing a therapist who helped her understand her anxiety and develop coping strategies. She learned about deep breathing techniques, meditation, and cognitive behavioral therapy. She also started practicing self-care, like taking long walks, writing in a journal, and spending time with loved ones. It wasn't easy. There were still moments when Emma felt like her anxiety was going to overwhelm her. But she learned to recognize the signs of an impending panic attack and take action before it got too bad. She also learned to challenge the negative thoughts and beliefs that were fueling her anxiety. One day, Emma decided to face one of her biggest fears: flying. She had always been terrified of flying, but she had always wanted to travel the world. So she booked a ticket to Europe and set off on a solo adventure. At first, Emma was nervous and on edge. But as she explored new cities and met new people, she began to feel a sense of freedom and empowerment that she had never experienced before. She realized that her anxiety didn't have to control her life. She could still pursue her dreams and live a full, rich life. As Emma looked back on her journey, she realized that her anxiety had been a teacher. It had taught her to slow down, take care of herself, and prioritize her mental health. It had also taught her about the power of resilience and the human spirit. Emma's story is a reminder that anxiety is a difficult but manageable condition. If you're struggling with anxiety, know that you're not alone. There are many resources and tools available to help you cope and thrive. Don't be afraid to reach out for help, and remember that there is always hope for a brighter tomorrow. As Emma wrote in her journal during her trip to Europe, "I may never be completely free of my anxiety, but I can still choose to live a full, beautiful life, one step at a time."